What's up, guys? Sorry about that. Trying to wait right till 7:30 here. Let me just get this all set up, guys. There we go. I'll turn this on. Here we go. I was jamming out. Took me a minute. Let's see here. Move this over here. What is up, guys? I see I had a lot of viewers there a second ago. It was up to like 10 already, or 8 or whatever. But I'm trying to get the live chat. Get rid of Facebook. That's what we want to do. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Get this over here. There's a few things I wanted to talk about today. In regards to the Bigfoot world, of course, obviously. Why not? So, I usually like to wait till I get a decent amount of viewers anyway. But in regards to the title, I'm really glad that the Bigfoot world is starting to pay attention. Okay. As you can see, people are starting to reach out to one another. They're starting to come together, per se. A lot more chatter going on. I just got a message. Don't hear anything. Hear you now. I'm here. So as far as the Bigfoot world goes, all the links that you see on this page, basically what I did is when you watch it later on, I promoted everybody else's channels. That's what I'm going to start doing, promoting other people's channels. I think it's really good that we're coming together. There's a lot of news going on that I was going to talk about. You'll be seeing us from the woods here pretty soon. The weather's been terrible, but I do have some. I'm just not ready to share them because I like to keep them coming. I like the videos to, at least be 1 or 2 a week. That's kind of what I try to do from, May through almost November. But I've reached out to a lot of people, and as you notice, people like Michael Merchant and Mark in Colorado. Recently Todd Standing came back into the mix. I've spoke with him on a few things. I've actually I reached out to him and I invited him to my area. It doesn't bother me what people really think or say about others. I believe what Todd has is real. I know he gets into the field. That's the main consistent factor. Okay. A lot of the people that sit back there and don't like evidence and don't like what people present, it's just because of their own opinion, right? It's not because of anything else. It's just, oh, somebody said that something said over here. You know what I mean? So it's good that everybody's reaching out to one another. Sorry, I'm just looking at some cameras up here. Everybody, you got Michael Merchant talking about Rio, and Rio working with Christopher Noel, and everybody's talking. Dr. J and myself and this one and that one. We have to put our beliefs aside on this whole issue here, right? The only way we're going to get to the bottom of everything is if everybody starts to pay attention. But before I go into depth and start talking about Bigfoot here, I got a radio show coming up with Night Callers Monday night at 9:30, I believe it is. That's Night Callers Radio, so you guys can check that out. That'll be coming up this Monday. I did post a video. There is a $1 million bounty right now for a capture of a Bigfoot body or evidence that leads to a capture of a Bigfoot. So meaning you take this person out, they find a Bigfoot, you get it. Now, it doesn't matter who that's presented by, but it is Tom Biscardi. Some people don't like him. Some people like him. In my opinion, it doesn't matter anymore. I've gotten rid of that. It's not about who likes who, and the whole belief system, our belief system, part the waters. It's not about us anymore. It's about what's out there. And that's what I've been trying to preach to people every single day. And I think it's working because I see a little less bickering. I see a little bit more collaboration. I see people working together. You know what I'm saying? Some of the ideas that are coming out, per se, and you step back for a second and you're like, whoa, I never thought that person would say that. Example, as of recent, Utah Sasquatch, Rio, okay? Talking about dowsing rods, taking that into the field. See, the thing is, what I try to tell people is, and it was funny last night, Michael Cook, myself, and Ed Brown were talking. They were having a live thing, and the whole principle of research is to have an open mind and research whatever it is that you're looking for. You have to keep that open mind, that open end. You have to stay grounded, but you have to be open-ended. And Ed Brown put it pretty good. He said, you know, if you kind of just shut that off, if you shut the door onto this crypto-normal reality, the whole situation is, that means that you've formed your own hypothesis and theory, meaning that you believe you've solved the mystery. That is why you can't do that. As a researcher, that is our job. Our job is to pay attention to both sides. You know, what are they finding here? What are they finding there? We're trying to put puzzle pieces together. You know, a lot of people don't want to hear it, but I will state this. Pay attention to all the people that have been in this field for, let's say, I don't know, 30 years, okay? People like Ron Moorhead, Bob Gimlin, just to name a few. They have shifted over to the quantum reality. The whole even the whole science field is starting to do that, as far as the God particle, as far as the collider, the Hadron Collider. I mean, they're looking into realms. I'll get to the chat in a minute. They're looking into realms that may hold things that, you know, we don't know where we're going to go. So is it unrealistic to think that Bigfoot could have abilities, or Bigfoot could be something that this whole woo factor, this whole, I don't call it woo, crypto normal. Okay, that's what I like. I don't think it's far-fetched because I've experienced things. Do I jump right in? No, I don't jump right in. Why would I? Let's see here. Hey, from Pittsburgh. Hi, Lori. Yeah, Todd's a good guy. Hey, what's up, buddy? I'm doing good. Tioga County, New York. Yeah, you're close to me. A couple hours, I think it was, when we talked. The whole process of everybody sharing is what's really keen to me. The minute anybody, in my opinion, says, you know, I have the answer, not raining on anybody's parade. I understand. I can't see one person getting the answer. Here's the thing, when you go out in the woods a substantial amount, things begin to happen. Okay, I don't know why, but things begin to happen. You will begin to experience things that are unexplained. Now, at first, many people just write it off. They kind of just write it off, and they don't want to talk any crypto normal at all. It is what it is, and that's it, okay? To me, that's not being true to yourself or your research, right? Like, I get if you want to hold it for a little while, and I'm not talking about like Dr. J or anything like that, because I'm thinking people are thinking that's not the case. Anybody in general. I'm talking like myself even. I had an experience in November last year. I kind of just held it back. I didn't like tell anybody. A month later, I came out and people like, whoa, you know, it blows your mind. Okay, so I've been looking into a lot of quantum theories, a lot of frequency theories, a lot of different things, you know. But it's good that that this whole field is listening. You've got a lot of people collaborating, a lot less bickering, a lot less fighting, which is starting to propel us. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing the uptick? There's an uptick here, and it's starting to, something will happen to try to alleviate that. It's a wave, you know, whether it be a haters or people or whatever they call them. But if you've noticed, there's been an uptick in the Bigfoot research field, where people are getting along, doing the right things, sharing the correct evidence. I haven't been on in a while because I only want to share things that are good. You know, I've had people call me, they want to come out to my area, you know, TV shows, certain things. I'm thinking about doing it, you know, but it's only from a perspective because we need, let's face it, social media is the best platform out there. So what is the best way to convert a skeptic or a non-believer or somebody that's on the fence? Social media, right? Regardless if it's YouTube, Facebook, whatever platform, those are the platforms we need to be using on a regular basis to get people to say, hey, you know, this might be real. And then they see the evidence and they learn the backstories. And of course, along the way, you're going to have hiccups, you're going to have problems, but there's definitely been an uptick in the way the movement of the Bigfoot world is going. So anyway, I got some good news. I spoke with our local, well, not our local, our state DEC agency. Part of the land that I want to access and get special privileges per se on, when they took my cameras, if you guys remember that, I had to file a TRP permit. Well, there are multiple agencies that run this land. 2 of 3 have approved it. I'm waiting on the 3rd, which should be very soon here, they said, with one minor stipulation, that anything pulled off of their land before it goes for any DNA sequencing that I could send it for must go to the New York State Museum. So, I mean, I get it. I get their whole thing, but to me that looks, in a way, it's facetious, but it's just it's their way to control things. So if you do get some good sample, if you really do get something, they want me to send it to the museum in New York City, New York State, before it would go for DNA sequencing. But that should be passed here pretty soon, which is good. Let me just check the chat really quick. I've seen some people writing. Love to see you all on the show. Yep. Usually I get a lot of viewers, sometimes up to 30 or 40. Everybody doesn't always write, though. They don't always comment or interject, but there's been a lot of Bigfoot sightings recently. April is one of the months where you're going to see an uptick also, based on, I believe, migrational patterns when they kind of start to move from point A to point B. A lot of people have talked about certain areas in May, in certain areas toward the end of the year where there's birthing and mating areas that they progress to. And you'll notice, if you start to get sightings, it kind of started off out west this year. And it's almost like they move across the country gradually and make their way back up north or into the eastern states and stuff like that. But I've noticed a giant upswing in that. And that's only because more people are sharing online, okay? More people are becoming interactive. They're not hating on one another. They're not tearing people's eyes out. A lot of our perception, your perception, is from TV and from what you see on these shows, I will tell you this, in my opinion, I haven't seen any credible researcher out there. The only people I consider credible would be like Cliff Barackman, just because, not because of the show, but because he goes above and beyond. So when I talk to him every so often, you know, I share my evidence with him. He's a genuine person who will listen. I mean, you've got people, there's a lot of good researchers like myself is what I'm saying, but not on TV. They're all portrayed to be crazy, or they're portrayed in this bad situation. But I think it starts here. This is the new wave. Okay. So, with us coming together, like, you know, Utah Sasquatch, I don't like to say their names, you know, but I just stick with their channels. Okay. I'm not going to use their government. But when we all do come together and start sharing these ideas and opinions, I really wanted to do a podcast with all these guys. Colorado Forest Beings, Mark Abell, Todd Standing, Utah Sasquatch, Christopher Noel, Snowwalker Prime, all these. Okay. I wanted to get us in like a once a week, you know, Daniel Benoit, no matter what people think, Michael Cook, of anybody, these are the guys that are on the forefront. We are the people out there teaching you, learning. I mean, like Barb Shoup, there is a lot of great people out there sharing things. Many people are scared to say what they think. They're not like me. When I tell you things like, go to the structure, look for the structure to be added to, that's how you know they're in the specific area at the specific time. And that's when you should be focusing. It's common sense, but a lot of people won't tell you those things. They're reluctant to. What is research? Research is trial and error, right? So if somebody says something, they can always recant that. You know, it happens. We're not scientists. We're not all perfect. Okay, you know. But like I said, I believe in Todd Standing. I'm glad he's back. He had Dr. Meldrum out, and I guess Dr. Meldrum had an encounter himself. That'll be coming out pretty soon. I like the way Rio has been changing his perception and changing. I like the way that Christopher Noel has recently thought of these theories, like we've been talking about frequencies, and I'll leave it as ZPE. I'm not going to go into it. You know, but like I said, if you pay attention, the people that have been doing this for a really long time, Bob Gimlin, Ron Moorhead, all the guys that's not started this, but have been here for a long time, the whole paradigm has shifted. It's into the crypto normal sense. I'm not using woo anymore. I prefer crypto normal. Okay. They've all switched over because at one point in time, something has happened. Something has changed their perspective on Bigfoot. People don't just go around and make claims for no reason. I know I don't. Okay. Something changed them. Something propelled them in that direction. Something made them go down that road. I'm not fully with the paranormal situation, okay? I'm not fully with the old school situation. I am a researcher, not following anyone else. I'm doing my own thing in the field. You're going to see some experiments from the field this year. I hope they blow your mind. I hope they blow my mind. I hope they actually work, okay? I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want other people to use them. I want to test my own data and so on and so forth. But you got to remember, everybody wants to see Bigfoot in a video. Okay, I get it. We've shared really good stuff in the past, and we're going to continue to, as long as the Bigfoots continue to let us, if you know what that means. Like, how do I say this? Once you've gained trust and once you've figured out the area, they're pretty good about this. And habituation is the key. And why do I say that? Because you need the trust. 9 out of 10 people will go into the woods. They'll do their wood knocks or their yells or whatever they're going to do. After a while, they hit a wall. And once they hit that barrier, what happens? They kind of just either fall back, or they don't know what to do, or they're not progressing. Like I said before, there's two roads. It's like the Matrix, blue pill, red pill. That when you get there, something will happen and push you or propel you in a different direction. Like I said, Rio was talking about dowsing rods, and Michael Merchant has flipped totally over to, you know, this state of mind. Christopher Noel is starting to do things, but he's thinking scientifically. So that's where I am at. If this is some type of frequency-based energy that, where I'm at with the situation is they're not on another planet, okay? If there are portals, hear me out. I believe that they're using them to jump from location to location on the Earth. VLA lines, the way the sun and everything interact, create a higher energy field, a lot of different things. I believe they're there. Our eyes just don't flicker fast enough to see them. That's why you catch them on camera. The cameras work totally different than our eyes, okay? So what I believe is, in a sense, see, I made the tree structure video. Now, if this being is a universal oneness, okay? If this being, creature, Bigfoot, whatever you call it, is adapted to the Earth, is one with the Earth, has these abilities, can travel or transport, why does it need to make structures to follow through the woods? Something is amiss, okay? So I started looking back. I started changing my mind. And a deer doesn't need, a bear doesn't need, any animal does not need a sense of direction. Maybe a dolphin or some type of fish, when there's a natural disaster or an energy that disrupts their infrasound or whatever it is, they don't need to have markers. So why are the Bigfoots doing that? I think there's a necessity in the tree structure, okay? I don't believe they are paranoid, and they may be some type of autistic savant, but I even think that Christopher Noel has broken away from his own theory a little bit. I'm thinking that there's something to do with energy, the way the trees are shaped, because if you think about it, everything has energy, right? Everything out there, I mean, has energy. The shirt, the desk, it's there. Look it up, research it. That is why we're finding, it's kind of like an electric circuit. Let me say this. So you got your circuit, right? Well, if you use tree structures and bend them, and trees have energy, and the Earth is negative, and it all ties in. Do you see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do is take the crypto world, this crypto normal, which is the woo, which I don't normal. I'm trying to take that and use a scientific perspective on it. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to apply these methods. And then once I come up with like 2 or 3 ideas, I'm going to follow those and somehow create tests, which I've got 2 already ready. And one of them, I'll tell you right now, is right here. You're not going to, no, this is the first, okay? You're not going to see anybody else talking about this. I'll claim this right now that I'm going to be using magnets in the field. I don't even know if I can get these apart. Oh, magnets. Now, when you've got, if you've ever paid attention to the Hutchinson effect, you've got negatives and positive poles, and we all know you try to push these together and it creates a, and you can't get them together, you know, it's got that ball, okay? But there's certain ways you can put these together to create certain things. Let me put them back together. And I'm going to be using magnets. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these to these certain tree structures and see what I get. I'm going to try to put some negative poles and positive poles together, creating the vortex that there's certain things. Anyway, it'll spin and it creates some type of vortex. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want to see if that energy is used or repeated or taken down or hidden, whatever it may be. because the way I look at it, if they are, aka cloaking, why are they doing it? So like I said before, we vibrate at this number. We're an energy. No matter what, read it. Read everything I tell you, read it. It's science. It's science, okay? So I think we vibrate at like 520 something kilohertz, 28. If they're vibrating on a higher plane up here, right? We're not going to see them. That's point A. Point B is, well, you're going to say to me, well, why do we see them then if they're vibrating and aka cloaking? What happens when you and I get tired? We're like, we go eat something, we drink something, we're on the move, we're going to bed. That's what we're doing, okay? Just like that. They are trying to replenish. Why do we get reports of them eating copper, trees, dirt, all these minerals? Something in these bushes and minerals. There is, I'll get to this in a second. I just talked with a friend of mine and he brought this to my attention. But these minerals may help replenish things that they need on a higher level to help them get back to that oneness, that state of cloaking. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm trying to use a scientific perspective to bridge that gap between the craziness and the craziness, okay? Let me look at the chat real quick, guys. I believe skinwalkers are Sasquatch. My brother watched a guy come out of the bush and turn. Wow, that's amazing. I believe they do give some type of birth. Thank you. Thank you for saying I'm a knowledgeable person. It just comes with testing and time and everything else. Take a tube light out there with you. I bet you could light up the bulb. Right, exactly. Why do you think we have UV spectrum and all these spectrums we can't see in? Ryan, will I be attending the conference in a few weeks with Dr. J? I will not. I will be going to the Ohio conference. I've already booked up there. Dr. J's is just a little bit too far for my planning and everything that I had going on. I do talk to Dr. J on the phone. We do swap ideas and theories. I'm positive he'll be sharing some crazy, mind-blowing stuff. Most people, when they hear that, what he's going to share, are going to go crazy. They're going to lose their mind. I could hear the Facebook groups already. What they're not going to do is step back for a second, analyze the whole situation, pay attention. Like myself, I would pay attention. I would grasp certain things out of his whole speech. I would take it and I would try to apply it to advance it, okay? Like I said, I don't believe one person has the answer. I believe little by little, we're all getting the answer, but nobody is grabbing from everybody else like myself. I'm grabbing from everybody else in their thoughts and trying to come to one conclusion. Because if you look at this, everybody out here's got a theory and a hypothesis, and they're scientists, and everybody has the answer. That's not the case, okay? I don't have the answer. What will get us the answer is if we came together and shared all this, but instead I have to pick these pieces from everybody and try to put the puzzle together and use scientific. See, I'm not a scientist, all right? But I can apply scientific testing. Anybody can. Go online, figure out a test, see if it works from A to B, like this magnet test that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be trying it. I'm going to explore, because I'm a researcher, I'm going to explore the paranormal realm. What else? There are some new thoughts on cameras that I'd like to try to get. Not so much the IR or the UV, but different types of things, and they are expensive as hell. But I think one was like $9,000. But I was going to try to see if I could rent one to see these different perspectives and frequencies. And like I said in a video a while ago, if we can start, like, okay, I have an audio clip where you hear them screaming And I kind of compared it to myself on the graph for you guys to see. Now, if they're screaming at a certain frequency, right? What happens if we pulled out, say they were screaming at 90 kilohertz? I'm just saying, okay? Take that 90 kilohertz and replay it back into the woods. No words, just get the 90 kilohertz frequency and play it back into the woods to see what would happen. These are certain tests that we can do. Everybody's so key on, oh, well, there's language. Let's play those whoops, or let's play that back to them, or, you know, come on, they're not dumb. That's why we have not been advancing. We're doing some of the same stuff over. Nobody's being creative enough to come up with their own testing to do certain things. Sorry, I had a message on the phone. I see the chat moving here, so let me get back to it. Let's see. How you doing, Rick? This is Rick from Pittsburgh. How you doing? Talked with you quite a few times, buddy. And what is this about? I don't know. You tell me. I let my dog out, my pit bull Lily. She did not come back, and it was just before dawn. I went out on my deck just because she was pointing at something in our neighbor's yard. I heard a glass jar clinking. It's unreal. People don't understand. Now, I can't get on the theory that they're taking human stuff and putting it in the woods, and you know, but hey, it's all what people are learning, I guess, right? It's all what we're taking in, and but like I said, I've got some good things coming up. I wanted to get your guys' input here. Somebody there? Did you guys hear that? My floor was creaking like right next to me. That was nuts, dude. I just installed hardwood floors in my bedroom here, and that was awesome. That was weird. Sorry about that. Let's see. I saw something and thought, what is that? Too big to be a bear. And then it turned out, it turned its head and screamed at me. I've heard screams in the woods. I've caught language. You know, I've dealt with people across the board. I've spoke with everybody from anybody, from TV personalities. You got to remember, TV is just TV, entertainment. Okay. I get it. Everybody's out there to get rich quick. They want to find Bigfoot. They want to be in the books. I do this for me. If it takes me there, if I get rich because I can prove the situation, great, terrific. I love it. But I'm doing this for me because of what I experienced. 2013 changed my life forever. I have some really close friends online, believe it or not, and we bounce ideas off each other all the time. That is helping the progression. That is helping everybody that I know grow, because then I share it with a couple people and then a couple people, and that's it. And I let it out real easy, because if you don't have evidence, people aren't going to believe you, right? So that is why I started sharing some of my evidence. But I backed away to my own sanctuary, YouTube, and I can share it without getting harassed or really having problems. People don't want to speak out anymore. People are scared. It's almost abuse in a way. It is almost abusive the way they come after you. There's a number of reasons they do it. Jealousy. They want to be number one. They want to keep money going. They want to, all kinds of stuff. There's so many different reasons they could come after you. But instead of that person being open-minded and saying, hey guy, let's sit down and talk. The other day, I'll make a good point for you here. All my samples go to NYU. I had a gentleman tell me, I'll kiss your ass, basically, because I don't believe you. All right. I don't care if you believe me or not. Send him an email, send him the documentation, and I said, eat crow. I don't care. You think that person would apologize? You think that person would say, hey, you know what, Ryan, I shouldn't have said that on air. No, they won't do it. It's all about them being better. Always, always, always. Okay, guys? Do you know why they knock wood against a tree? Here's a thought. So, why are we thinking it's wood? Why are we thinking that they're knocking wood against a tree? Could it be, what happens when, how to say this simple? Here's a realm and here's a realm. If you're transferring from one realm to another, you'd get a high frequency, high energy pop. Could it be that? Could they be clapping in front of their mouth? There's so many theories, and we're stuck on the wood knocking. But what's that really gotten us? It's gotten us nothing. Some wood knocks back, some hoops and hollers. The key is trust, guys, and habituation. As I was saying before, lost my train of thought a while back, but we all go in the woods, and what happens? You catch a fleeting glimpse, or people see this fleeting glimpse. Oh, there it goes. You know what I'm saying? Little by little, if you gain their trust, boom, 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 they'll start to not go as far. They'll start to stick around. They'll be curious. After a while, it was happening to us last year. After 5 months of habituation, what happened? Oh my God, look at the photos Ryan's sharing. He's hoaxing, plain and simple. He's a hoaxer, because they cannot understand the fact that that is real. They don't want to sink that into their mind. You can share your photos with whoever you want. You know what I mean? It's proof, in a sense. It is, because I mean, I know what it is. I'm out there. When you talk to certain researchers behind closed doors, 100% they're with you. On the other hand, they still have their own reputations. So it's a double-edged sword. Let me scroll up here and see where you guys are at. Michelle, did you ever report that to anybody else? Do you believe that a reptilian can chase a Bigfoot away? Okay, so I'm not fully into the reptilian theory, but as you start to pay attention to the Sumerian text, the Emerald Tablets of Thought, or Thor, or whatever it was, things start to pop up that people are waking up is what's happening, okay? And they're starting to pay attention to our history that we've kind of been dumbed down about over this whole time, not just with Bigfoot, with aliens, with everything. That's why we have to be a broad perspective here, because we don't know where it's going to lead us. Frankly, I mean, in all honesty, but it all depends. You're saying, could it chase it away? I mean, it hasn't. If they're both on Earth or underground or whatever the situation is, they're still both here, so they're not chasing each other away. So let's see what else you got. Do you know why they knock wood? Let me see. It had its hands on a recycle bin. They can be stealing food if it's during the winter. It'd be like you or me. If we got a hard month and we're trying to budget money, or whatever it is, or if you're homeless, you're going to go to easiest source of food. Common sense. C says, I heard vocals, but really low, not creaking on floorboards. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Like, it was really weird. A few minutes ago, like, I was sitting here and I wasn't even moving, and I heard the floorboard. I asked, I heard the floorboards going creak, 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 like something heavy was walking. That was really weird. It was crazy. I don't know. No one seems to ever get one of those up close screams. I have some. I do myself. Yes, sir, Brian. They have felt to the bone on a recorder. Have you heard any record? Yes, I have mine on SoundCloud. I have they were sent away to, well, I sent them to Ron Moorhead, who shared them with Scott Nelson, the cryptolinguist you guys seen on TV. That was about a year or two ago. I had another guy analyze them. And what they look for is phenoms and, there's something else. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, it's indicative of language. So I've got them on audio at 5:40 in the morning, about 2 miles from a road, screaming and yelling and screaming. And then toward the end, it sounds like the older male says something. You'll hear him go, ah, ah, and then he says something, and it's unreal. It really is. It changes your whole perspective. Like, what the hell, what am I getting into, in a sense, when you start catching that? Let's see. When a gorilla beats its chest, it sounds like wood knocks. That's another possibility. We're so stuck on what we've heard from 20 years ago. Let's start using our right here. Right here is the power, guys. If we use our brain, we have no idea where we can take this. Is it a prehistoric creature? Nope, I don't believe so. We don't have bones of it. You've got a few camps out there. You've got your paranormal, you've got your alien, you've got your Nephilim, you've got frequency energy base, you've got your old schooler, you know, you've got your relic hominid, you've got Gigantopithecus. So, I mean, there's so many offshoots, but we don't have any proof. Nobody across the board has any proof. We may have pictures, we may have, you know, certain things, but it's not proof. It's not definitive 150%, right, guys? I could share you a picture and explain to you all day long the circumstances, but if you didn't experience it yourself, you're not going to believe. Brian, you can go to my SoundCloud. It's Ryan Reading at SoundCloud. Check them out there. I've got a bunch of them, but there it's like the 5th or 6th one down. There's like 4 in a row. You could check that out later on SoundCloud. Actually, you know what? I probably could. If you give me a second, I could play the audio live for you. And the next day there was a deer skull. See, they may want you to start gifting. Gifting is the key. I'm going to tell you that. It builds trust. It'd be like this. Okay. If I feed you every day, I lock you in a room, right? You don't trust me at all because I locked you in that room. Then I start to feed you every day, 3 times a day. So you're healthy and happy and whatever it is. You don't get sick on the food. You're going to start to trust me. In the beginning, you don't want to take that food, right? You don't want that. Oh, hell, I don't know what that guy's got going on. I'm not taking that. But after a while, you come closer and you trust and you trust. Once you get that trust, it's sad to say, but you can manipulate it really quick. And that is how I got some of the photos that I got. I tricked them. They got mad at me for about 3 weeks. But what I did is I got them to the point that they were almost 30 or 40 yards away from us, just sitting there hanging out. Okay. It's crazy to say. So I found out what tree structure was hot. I'm going to spell it out for you guys right now. Find the tree structure that's being added to at that time. That's the hot zone. That's the hot structure. That's where you habituate, guys. I'm laying it out for you. Once you habituate in that area for at least 6 to 8 weeks straight, 3 to 4 days a week, same time, same place, same channel, do it over and over and over and over. They like that repetitive nature. Same time, same place. They like that. They need that almost. It's like their OCD. That's how they've stayed hidden so long, okay? As you're habituating, you'll start to gain that trust. Instead of going 200 yards, they'll go 100. Then they'll go 70. Then they'll 50. After a while, they'll just go up a tree and they won't run. Some of the stuff is amazing that you will see. You'll catch it. Try it. I would like you to take 5 months and implement all that situation right there and come back to me and say, oh my God, Ryan, you've kind of like, nobody put this together. Nobody was putting together structures. They were just walking by them. You can walk by structures all day long and say, oh, look at this and look at how they look. If you're not analyzing them and then coming back a month later and say, oh, that was changed, and then take out your picture and, oh my God, look, it looks different. They added that one or this or that. You know what I'm saying? Why did they do it? Well, something came there and added it. Okay, guys? That is the time you should have been there, during that 1 week or that 2 week or that 1 month when that hot zone on that structure was happening. Once you're there, start habituating and you will start getting things that are unreal. So what I did to trick them is I had no trail cameras. I was doing this. I did it for almost 5 months, but around month 4, I said, it's time for me to get really good photos. That's when I had people hide with cameras down the embankment, take photos, whatever. But I put out the trail cameras. So I knew the core location. I knew where they were coming from. I seen the foot tracks coming out of the, what would that be? That would be the northeast. They were coming out of, north, well, almost the east. So I said, all right, I'm not going to face the camera east because they're going to see it. So I faced the camera west on a tree. And that's what I predicted happened. Okay. I thought they would come right by the camera and I would get a photo. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. At least I got the side profile of it looking, which you've all probably seen on my Facebook page. I've gotten a lot of other photos, you know, the ones where they were just getting up, going over the log while we were walking. We were sitting in our core area for a little while. They were 50 yards from us, hanging out, like 5 of them. We walk by them and the one gets up, and I share like a triple photo where you can see the hip extensions and the arms go up. And I did that for motion reference. Let's see. And do you think that it lays eggs? Or people like that, this Kobe whatever, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that ask things like that, you're an asshole, because people like you are the people that are ruining this community, just so you know that. Do I believe in Dogman? Okay, funny story, Matthew. I never believed in Dogman. I sent my samples away. I shared this with the 40 and Slip the other day. I sent my samples away, came back, and they told me they were some kind of canid. I know they do certain rounds of testing, like mitochondrial and then nuclear. But what he comes back as, he tells me it's canine. He can't tell me what type of canine, but he says it's canine. So I get the DNA sample back, and I'm like, canine? How the hell do I have a canine sample? My boxes are 12 foot up in a tree hanging on a branch. There's no way. When I get my samples, you know, down, I can put my mask on, get my test tubes out, put my gloves on, do it like a real scientist would do as they get sent to the lab. We write down our chain of custody. Usually I'm the only one that handles them, period, point blank. So it's kind of like, that's when I started to believe in Dogman. I said, how did I get canine samples 12 foot up in a tree hanging on a branch? Dog's just not going to get up there, man. You know, and in the distance, I mean, it would have to climb a 12-foot tree, you know, a big oak, and then come across a huge oak branch out to the middle of, you know, it was just too much for me to grasp. And that's when I started believing, hey, maybe this Dogman thing is real. And the funny part about that is the tracks that I was finding. Okay, I found this one specific track. It's 2-toed. All my other tracks are 5-toed, but this track, the maybe deformed or possible Dogman, had 2, and I have a cast of it, and I also have photos of it on 3 different occasions. But the weird part was it seemed to be following the 19-inch Bigfoot track. So I don't know if it is a Bigfoot with just a deformed foot with 2 toes, or if it is a possible Dogman that was maybe hunting or following the Bigfoot migration pattern or whatever it is. But I will tell you this, there is one area that I've pinpointed that they crossed almost to the same time and same day, 1 year apart. So February of last year at a certain time, I caught a photo. I stayed in that area, kept the cameras up. February of this year, I caught another photo and I compared it, and it's almost to the same time, same hour. It's unreal. So I believe that this certain little patch, they're coming from the east and they're able to use it. Hi, Vicky. No big deal. It's all good. Why do they knock trees down? Is it out of frustration? We don't know, because nobody's really ever seen it. So it's just rough speculation. I mean, it could be something they want to eat. It could be out of frustration. It could be out of dominance. It could be to mark their territory. It could be fighting with another one. There's so many ideas out there. Have you ever had anything follow you home? Unfortunately, I think I have. Not that I want to, but you have to set your boundaries. So I've told them they're not allowed in my home. Okay, so that may sound crazy to some. I've had things happen, and I started paying attention to what Dr. Johnson was saying, and it kind of not just me, across the board. I mean, Scott Carpenter, all these other guys have had things happen at their house, and it's like, you know, they've had dreams, they've had craziness happen. So I have, but I don't like to talk about it. I have heard Native American stories of a war between Bigfoot and Dogman. I've heard parts of it, but I guess it was retracted. They were saying that it was not true or something of that nature. Give me 1 second. I got a thing right here. 1 second, guys. Sorry. I had to talk. But what were we talking about? I moved a bit downriver to another house and had a tree with a long branch higher than you can reach, a few feet, and something twisted it up and sound through. Yeah, you'll start to have things. Let me get to this audio, guys. If you give me a second, and I'll play it for you. Hopefully you can hear it over the speakers here, because I know you guys were asking to hear some of it. So let me get to my SoundCloud. Okay, there's that profile. I'm really eager. See, I had a dream, guys, about 2 weeks ago, and I'm eager to get back out to this one area. On my SoundCloud page, there's a really nice structure that this was the main structure I followed, and it had been added and added and added to it. Unfortunately, in November of 16, toward the end, it was dismantled. I mean, I've got comparisons in another video of what it was like in June and November, and you could see the drastic changes in it. So I'm hoping they're going to come back. I still haven't figured out why they're dismantling them, though. I am on my SoundCloud page. Give me a second here. I'm going to try to play a short one for you. There's actually 4 in a row, but let me... okay, this one is like 13 seconds. I'll turn this up. And it's the name of it is If This Is Not Language, I Don't Know What Is. So you're kind of going to hear something, maybe some yelling, and then toward the end you can hear the huff, huff, and then he said something. Let me know what you think he says. I'll try to get the speakers close enough here. Oh, sorry, I don't have them plugged in. Give me 1 second, guys. Hang on. I want you to be able to hear this good. Okay. I hope you guys can still hear me. Can you tell me if you can hear me? Hold on, let me see the chat. Wait a minute, where'd you go? Okay, where's the chat? Where's the chat? Where's the chat? There it is. Can you hear me? I do not live in the forest. Nope, I live in a city and I research about 30 minutes south of the city. Okay, you can hear me? I'm going to get you to the SoundCloud now. Actually, I have to play it with no sound so I can start it over. It's this first clip is 13 seconds. I'll play it again for you guys. I'm trying to get it as loud as possible. Okay, did you guys hear that? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What did you think it is? What? There's some screaming going on. I'll play another one for you guys too. At the end, to me, it sounded like the older male said, "Go lay down," like the go lay down. You can hear it good, great, terrific. Here's a long. This one's 1:39. I'll let it play. It sounds like hold that. Yeah, I can't tell what it says, but it sounds like the jungle, and it's here in Western New York. I wanted to point out, you could hear the crows in the background because there's a different tone. The crows were like, caw, 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 and this was like, ah! Okay, so that one's done. It's crazy the way they're screaming and the way he's yelling. Let's see. This one is, I think, where he breaks. It's 5 minutes long. I don't know if we can listen to the whole thing, but he's screaming, and I know he breaks some branches. You can hear him actually. So this gave the indication that they break the branches. It was tying the two things together. I don't know if I can fast forward it. I'll share some other ones with you too. Here he is. That's where he broke the tree. He's screaming and he breaks the tree. So this whole sequence took place over a 20-minute span. I caught them, okay? What happens, I'm going to give you the whole rundown. In the beginning, I'll play a thing here in a second. It sounds like he ambushes a deer, okay? And I'm a deer hunter, so I know what the deer snort sounds like. It sounds like something jumps on the deer, they rustle around, and it sounds like it's crushing its windpipe. You hear this exacerbation of air out of the lungs. And I'm like, what could be doing that? So as the time played on, 3 minutes later, I hear him screaming. So I put this mental picture together in my head. The juvenile jumps down, kills the sorry, I had a lot of pop-ups. Kills the deer. And what happens after he conquers a deer? He goes nuts. He starts screaming like, yeah, I did it. You know, I got it, whatever. But he goes to the extent that the old one gets pissed off and tells him to go lay down. That's kind of what it sounded like to me. I've also got some paranormal stuff I can let you listen to. Close up, that scream is blood curdling. Yes, it is. We have had it happen to us a couple times, and it's made us back up quickly. Kobe, that's where we're talking about this energy, this possible woo factor, this cryptonormal factor, opposed to the standard Bigfoot, factor. Chimps almost do that too. That's the funny thing. And when people hear this, they're like, well, that's the Amazon. I'm like, no, that's Western New York, so I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna let you hear this next one where I believe they killed the deer, and it's not as good, but you can hear it. So I'll play it one more time. It's only like 20 seconds. It sounds like that he hits, I don't know if you can hear it, but he hits it, and it sounds like he's compressing the air out of the lungs or on the throat. On that one, it almost sounded like he was hitting it. Maybe it's a chimpanzee. Well, Eddie, if it's a chimpanzee in New York State, I'd be shocked. Play the paranormal stuff. Okay, I have one that I have a couple, but let's see, where am I at? That I don't know what some of these are because I can't remember. Let me see. That one's way too long. Hang on. That one's 47 seconds. It says live paranormal. Oh, I caught a girl saying, "Mom." Hang on, check this out. There's one that I really want to share with you guys. What is this? Oh, that one's hard to hear. It's like, but there's a really good one, and I shared this on, and there's a bunch of whoops. I got whoop, whoop, whoop. There's a bunch of them. They're better with headphones on, some of them, but that audio was really close. But there's one way down. I got one knocking a tree over, actually, with my Zoom H4n. You can hear it hit the tree, whack, and then it's like crack, 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 smash. It's awesome. It really is. Where is it? This one thing, I've got him fumbling with it. I've got, you know, footsteps. I've got them whistling. They teased me at first. But what I'm looking for is, it's like unknown. What is that? Undetermined. Please listen. I'm looking for it real quick, guys. Hang on. Where did it go? I know it's unknown too, I think. New language. Give me 1 second. I've got about 40 of them on here, 50 or something. You know what? Let me go full screen. How dumb am I? I'm trying to see on mine. I can see the bar graphs, the sound. So I'm looking for this certain one. It's like it moved the whole spectrum, the frequency spectrum, when I did the video, and I've never seen anything do that before. But I can't find it. I wonder if I type it in. No. It's here somewhere. I don't want to take all day looking for it, but I wasn't really prepared. You guys just kind of asked me to do it. Let me, I'll find it though. Unknown meadows, whoop, whoop, amazing, unknown howl, walking, unknown valley. It's really short. It's only like 12 seconds. There's a possible Sasquatch drum. I got like a boom, boom, boom in the woods. It was crazy. Knocks back and forth. I don't know what this one is. Okay, that's not it. What do you think? Fumbling. It's coming up, I think. Because it's like unknown. Oh, I think I just seen it. No, that one's not it. I really want to find it for you guys. Give me 1 second. I don't know what this one is. So, did you hear that? It was like, I don't know what can make that kind of noise in the woods, but it was super loud. That's a female voice, unknown. Bark howl. Huh. Unknown. There, wait. That may be. This is it. It's coming up right here. Did you guys hear that? It like I'm just gonna close this because I'm live. It took me long enough to find it, but it was like I did in another video where I analyzed it in the spectrum, and it was like it moved the whole spectrum. It was like an interference of a language. It's really weird to explain, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, did you hear it? I hear my door get bumped. Vicky, where did you find this stuff? In my location area. What we were doing is we did Project Deep Woods, and we left a bunch of, you know, recorders out in the woods, some expensive $200 H4Ns at certain locations where we were having interactions. There was like a total of 4 of them. The hardest part wasn't putting them out. It was going through all the audio that we were continually capturing time and time again. Because, you know, if you record just for 8 hours, it'll take you, you know, longer than 8 hours to go through that audio. Believe me. You know, almost double that usually, because you'll listen to it for 4 hours straight while you're doing something. And it's kind of like one of those things where you're just listening and you hear the birds, and then it'll be silent. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, Bigfoot. And you're like, wait, what? Bigfoot? And you got to like stop because you hear the howl, and you got to turn, what? And you got to, oh, it's crazy. But then you got to replay it and send it back and crop it, shorten it, and so you can share it and stuff. But it gets to be, you get a rhythm of things where people think, oh, Bigfoot is crazy. Well, it's really not. There's a lot going on. Like I said, planning on doing a TV show here pretty soon. I was contacted by some people. You know, see where that goes. Going to share some of my stuff in my area with them. Like I said, I'm not in this for money. I mean, it'd be great to get it, but it's not like that. I'm trying to use social media platforms, whatever platform we can, and come together and share it all. My doggies are hiding under the table. Yeah, I hope those sounds came through loud and clear. It sounded like it was from a ghost box or under, exactly. And I don't use a ghost box, I tell you that. But that's what it sounded like. And that right there, I know where that was taken from. The whole area that I was really focusing on is about 4,000 to 5,000 acres last year. It's total of 12,000 acres. But what happened is they would come to this one area. So in the 5,000 acres, they had 3 points that they would go to that I kind of figured out. So it was, you know, here in May, June, July, and then August, and they just kind of moved between these points. It was really weird. And then winter came, and they kind of just like shuffled off, and they headed toward Pennsylvania and Ohio. And we followed the trackways down that way quite a bit. You seen my other video where I did the Google Earth thing, following structures and following them. So what we would do is we would get in the car, because you can't walk it. So we'd get in the car, and we would drive so far till we would see a structure. Okay, get out, check the structure, see for footprints, see whatever was out there. Okay, well, we kind of know the footprints go in that direction. So if there's a road, you know, 69, 72, whatever road it was, we'd say, all right, we got to go up and hit that road. So we'd go up, hit that road a mile down, and look for structures on that road. So we'd find one, and okay, so we knew to connect the dots from the last location to this new location. So we were following the structures via the roads. And it took us all the way, you know, down through Pennsylvania till it got to like the state, the big forest, like the Appalachians. Then it was forget it. Like we just couldn't do it. But it was a good 3-hour trip from my area straight out where we were able to follow them. You guys wanted the sound, so I hope you liked them. It may sound a bit weird, but did you never think of making a trap for them so they get locked in it? You can have proof. That will never work. Never in a million years. You would need a tranquilizer gun. There's no way you're gonna trap a Sasquatch, buddy. They're strong. I would love to get action like that. You can. I told you how to do it. Listen, you go find these structures, okay? So most of you guys walk by them. Oh, look at this structure, guys. Look at this structure. Look. And you just keep going. Find the biggest one that you know of, okay? So if you've been doing it a year, 2, 3 years, you know where there's a big structure, right? You know. Go to that structure and frequent it, and start paying attention to when it's added to. Take a photo. Go back a week later, take another photo. Go back a week later. It's persistence that pays off. Take another photo. Finally, you're going to see, oh my God, there's 2 new sticks added to it, or a huge log, or whatever. That's when you need to do your research. Bam. That opens your door. That is your key right there. So once you have that, start habituating. I don't care what you leave them. Do like Dr. J did. Get a kettle, put it out there, do what you got to do. But you have to do it at consistent intervals, consistent times. So like I said, 4 days a week is when I was doing it, 6 p.m. all the time. In the beginning, it was like, but have a control. Okay, that's why we used a kettle. Put marbles on the top. I put 7 to 10 each time. And what would happen is when it was them, they would take the marbles, okay? When it was a rodent, or when it was just whatever, skunk or whatever, raccoon, they would just knock the marbles everywhere. The marbles would be all over the ground because they don't have no use for marbles, okay? That was kind of our control. So we knew when they were coming, they'd leave footprints, they whatever. And here's the key: when they're eating, there's no crumbs. No crumbs on the ground. I don't care if you leave Doritos, chips. I mean, I would leave bags if I needed to. There is no crumbs. I do not know how they can eat and not leave a mess, okay? Because there was no crumbs anywhere on the ground. Numerous times. We in the bag of Doritos would be set right back in the container. Like, are you kidding? Are you serious right now? And that's kind of what started changing our thinking. So by feeding them, they trusted us. You know, they're not getting sick. They liked the food. The interaction was okay. We weren't doing anything. We weren't trying to manipulate them. We had no cameras. And then finally I was like, you know what? I feel bad about this, but I was like, I have to trick them. I need some photos. I need to show people like what I'm doing is for real. And I did it, and I got a lot of photos and I got a lot of things, but they disappeared for like 3 weeks. They got really pissed off. That was the end of the interaction. They knew it. But once you start them interactions, so go back, you got the tree structure, you started the habituation, then you'll start to see foot tracks coming to and from that structure, from east, west, north, south. You'll know that they're coming from that core area. So the core area will be that way. So you're like, okay, they're coming from there to there. Set up between it. Set up right between those 2 points somehow. That's where you can habituate. If you do it long enough, things are going to happen. Once you see that, which I never really thought, it wasn't normal to think that way, but it was like I was trying to think like them. So then I set up the cameras to trick them, and I faced them away. I faced them in total opposite direction. Do not face the cameras toward where they're coming from. Everybody's been on this old school type of method. They're not applying any type of sense. They go out there, they rush around like crazy people, and you have to get a plan. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I wasn't watching the chat because I was rambling. Let's see. So do they migrate? It's not to deplete food or weather. Weather is with any animal, but I mean, if they can endure winter, brother, they can endure any weather, plain and simple. They walk in the snow barefoot. If they can endure that, there's no issue. Okay, it doesn't matter about the weather. I believe they migrate for, here's the thing. How did I come up with this? Okay, 9 out of 10 times we get a report. What's the report say? The one just in Idaho, you know, this big, massive 8-foot Sasquatch, 9-foot Sasquatch across the road, right? All implicating a male. Okay, so what's happening? The males are the ones that are traveling. We're not getting reports of a juvenile and a breasted Sasquatch crossing a road. No, it's always the males. It's always the big, huge, ginormous ones. So I started thinking, why is it only the males we're getting reports of? They're the ones migrating from location to location, probably for a mate, okay? The females and the juveniles are the ones that hang back in the core areas. So when I started talking to people in New Jersey and all these other places, they're like, you know, every year I get new males into my area. Why? Why is this happening? So they were looking at me for answers, and I'm like, I don't have the answers, but I used my brain, and the most logical explanation is the males were moving, you know, for mating to area to area to area, where the females and juveniles weren't. That's why we weren't getting reports of them crossing the road. But as far as migrating, in the mountainous areas where it's crazy, they're going to migrate for food, because all the elk and all the animals, they come down off the hill. They're forced to. So migrations are different in different areas. You know, they may go 20 miles and that's it from my area, where in Colorado, they might move a full 100 miles or cross way down to Arizona. It's just different areas. You know, it's different regions. Let me see. I observed. I don't care what you think. I believe you. I didn't say that. I didn't believe you. A deep hole with honey in it. You can use honey, but you're going to attract bears. You don't want that. Wait, what's going? Just got here. It's actually about Bigfoot. Of course it's about Bigfoot. Why wouldn't it be? That's what I do. That's crazy. That just goes right back and it keeps going. Yep. Do they live in a pack and an alpha? Well, I believe that it's kind of like a family unit. They call them clans, okay? I believe it's just like us. Like, you know, the dad controls everything. He's the elder. He's the wise. He's the whatever. The juveniles are the kids, and the mother's like your, you know, the mother, the provider, the take care of the whatever. I think it's just like that. It wouldn't be too far-fetched. I mean, gorillas have done it. Let me grab some water right here. Hang on. Sorry, I had to get some water. I'm just seeing what you guys are saying. You see a pile of sticks. No, not everything in the woods is a Bigfoot, man. My people know that. They know that. There has to be a way to trap them. Listen, they're very strong, okay? So the thing is, if you try to trap one, there's usually 2 or 3 or 4 other ones that it's not going to happen. In one of my videos, you can see where I came in. I had the 4K camera and I'm walking, and I decided to set it down against a tree because I needed to get the backpack off to set up the game cam. So as I did that, I set the audience down to talk to them, told them what I was doing, and I took the game cam out and I walked back about 10 paces to a tree to set it up. As I'm maneuvering the camera like this, I'm trying to get it to see where I want it to go. And I see one looking at me, and I'm looking over I can see like this much. And I believe it was a female. She's staring at me. So I start to yell to the camera. So I'm setting up this camera. I'm holding it, and I'm trying to push the buttons to get it to work to take a picture. So I'm bugging out, and I'm talking to the camera. Ultimately, it's gone. I strap it up. I go get the camera, and I'm distraught, okay? I'm pissed. I'm like, you know, this just happened. I've got cameras galore, and I don't get it. That's how it happens. But unknown to me, when I shared the footage, somebody had gone through it and was like, hey, check the background. A friend, Brian. So I checked the background, and I sent it off to a few people, and they're like, wow. You know, they started looking at it, and you can see what happens is that it looks like there's a couple of them on the ground. One looks like it does sign language. It's sitting there, and it goes to its mouth, and it was kind of talking to the big one. All of a sudden, you see like this arm, and I did a couple renditions on my page, and it's like reaching out, and then all of a sudden he stands up, huge, wide, I'm guessing 8 foot, and he's standing there. He's watching me as I'm watching the other one. As I start to walk back to the camera to pick it up from the tree, he turns around. He turns around and shoots away, and you could see him. It looks like either two of them flee, or he goes down on all fours and flees. That right there opened my mind, opened me up. And I said, we're out here looking for something walking around that's 7, 8, 9 foot tall, and it's not happening. They'll sit on the ground. They'll hang out. I caught another one when one slides down a tree. And that was caught on game camera while we were there. I never seen it, but the game camera caught it because we walked by it. And anyway, back to my point. They will sit on the ground and let you walk right by them. So try this next time. Tell your buddy, hey, I'm going to sit in the vehicle. I'll give you 10 minutes. Go out there and hide. I bet you won't even find him. If he sat down, you'll walk right by him. It's all about movement. Our eyes only pick up movement. When you're in the woods, you've got way too much going on. You've got birds and flowers and animals and trees moving, and you're trying to videotape, and you're trying to look down at the ground so you don't fall and break your leg, and you got way too much going on. That is why 90% of the time people do not see them in their, while they're there. And then they come home and they're like, okay, I'm going to review the footage. Oh, wow, there it is. How didn't I see it? Well, that's why some of the time. Let's see. See what you guys are talking about here. Hey, dude, I just met you. So how long have you been researching Bigfoot? About 5 years now. I'll tell you what got me into this. I used to metal detect a lot, and I used to go to the old home structures out in the woods. So I'd get the maps, and we'd go to the cellar holes, and we'd do our metal detecting thing. So one day I took my dog. This was 2012, 2013-ish, and I go to a location not even far off the road, man. I'm talking 60 yards from a parking lot, but the parking, not a store parking lot. I'm talking out in the woods parking lot, like, middle of nowhere woods. So it's like a stone parking lot. So anyway, I'm metal detecting by the well, and I kind of head up to this stone structure foundation. There's a branch that's hanging over. So on the other side, there's a clearing, and I'm like, well, I can hit that with the coil. I can swing that, and I bet there's something good in there. So I go under the branch, and I'm detecting. I take 1 step, 2 steps, and I kind of like glanced up when I swung like the detector, and I looked up, and it's kind of like a hill. I don't know how to explain it, but it's built up higher, but it was standing there. So I look up, and I'm like, holy shit, it didn't register. So I took that 2nd step, and I looked up like, whoa. And at the time, I didn't know anything about Bigfoot. I didn't care about Bigfoot. Okay. So, I seen this thing, and it was behind the tree like this, about 15, 20 feet, something like that, away from me. And when it noticed that I noticed it came right out from behind the tree, and it rolled its bottom lip. It, like, I can't really do it, but its bottom lip curled down, and I could see all its teeth, like it was pissed off. They were all square and blocky. There was no fang or canines, none of that. They were blocky, and I was just frozen. Had this round head. It was black and lanky. I believe it was a juvenile. I didn't know it was a juvenile until I did research, but it was only like 5.5 foot tall, all covered in hair. When it turned like this to go away from me, I could see all its digits. People want to say, are they opposable, non-opposable? What I'll tell you is it looked just like our hand, but bigger. Okay. So it turns around, it goes down on all fours, and it takes off. Bam! And there's like brush and everything else. So I'm guessing it ran like, dude, it must have cleared 200 yards in 6 seconds. I mean, gone fast type of speed. I froze, and I didn't know what to do. And I'm just like, the first thing that came out of my mouth was hello. And I was just like, whoa. All of a sudden I get the thought in my head, kind of like, when you watch a movie, the first person to get killed is like the black person, the African-American person always gets killed, right? That's the thing that like popped in my mind. You're the black guy or the African guy in the movie. You get killed, and what it said was run. I don't know why to explain it, but that's what happened. It said run. So I turned around as fast as I could, went down the hill, grabbed my dog. I shared these stories with Vic Cundiff's radio last 2 years ago. I'll probably be sharing it Monday night on Night Callers Radio at 9:30. She'll want to, you know, probably ask some questions. But anyway, that's kind of what got me into this. So I got home, I sat down, laid on the couch, and I kind of bugged out. Like, I told a family member, but I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to. How do you tell somebody you've seen Bigfoot? So I was just like, whatever. I stayed out of the woods. I really didn't go detecting much. The following year, so this whole area is kind of like up on a hill, but there's access points on different sides. So the following year, me and a friend who, his name is Brian, he actually passed away, God rest him. He went with me, we went detecting, we grabbed the detectors, went to the other side this time, hit a couple home structures, and it was around 2 o'clock, I think. We got there, we detected till around 4, and we took a break, we took a smoke break. So we went under the shade tree. So it's like May, I think it's like May, June. So we got under the tree, we're just having a smoke break, and I swear on everything, this is what I asked him. I said, yo, Bri, I said, you okay? And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you got that feeling like we're being watched? And he was like, no, why? What's up? I'm good. Those were the exact words out of his mouth. And I was like, dude, listen, I don't know, but I got like that weird feeling. Like and it had nothing to do really with Bigfoot. It was just, I felt like I was being watched. So right then, 2 hikers walked by. She had a pink coat on, and there was like a pink and yellow coat. They waved, they kept on going, and we seen them go. I mean, you could see this whole trail for a good mile before it disappears over the hill, bends off, and whatever. We got back to detect, and he said, yo, I'm going to hit the other side. I'm going to cross the trail, because this trail is kind of wide, 50, 60 yards, you know, but we were just in the woods. He said, I'm going to work my way out. I'm going to go up toward the pines, cut in, come back down, you know. I said, all right, whatever. I'm going to stay in here because I was having some luck. So I'm detecting, walking around. Make it short, around 6:30-ish, we're starting to head out. You know, we had a long day. He's coming from the other side. I'm coming from this side. So we're coming at each other, right? All of a sudden, he gets to the trail because that section of woods is closer to the trail. It's only like, I don't know, 15 yards, where my section is like 40 yards. He makes it to the trail first, and he's like yelling, yo, look, person, people, something. Exact words out of his mouth. Not lying to you. I pick off my headphones, I look at him, I said, what? And he's pointing. So I look. That's my whole thing. I look, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? At this time, he walks up to me, and we're standing shoulder to shoulder. And I'm like, dude, what is that? Well, this thing, a Bigfoot, is in the middle of the trail. We're not in the woods. It's open. It's a huge swath, right? And let me show you. It's kind of like in that football position. It's like this. I can't tell if its arms are on its knees or if it's just like this, all right? And we're just standing there, and all of a sudden, it stands up. And it's like one of those stand-up things where it's like this and this and this, and it just kept growing until it was finally standing. And I'm like, I'm in shock. I'm like, holy shit. What, you know, what? And this is only 150 yards from us, but it's right in the middle of a trail, you know? So it was like a 45-second interaction. We're watching it watching us. It had this look on its face of like, why are you there? Why are you in my way? Why are you whatever? But for me, this was super hard. This was double hard because now I had somebody with me to validate everything that I had witnessed the first time. So now I'm going through the whole thing in my head about the first time and the second time all at once. So I took my hands like this, and I'm like focusing, and I'm like, oh my God, I can see like the face on it. You could see the arms were massive. The arms were huge. It kind of had like a V shape. Its legs were ginormous. Like, I'm talking huge round, you know, but it was muscular. It wasn't like the big bulky ones. This thing was stout. I'm going to guess 3.5 feet wide. You could see the sagittal crest where the head kind of like peeked off. You could see the brow ridge from that distance. You could just see it was like a mass up here. You could see there was no hair on the face, but you could see like the hair come down. But up in here, there was like no hair. Jet black. All of a sudden, it turns, and when it turns, it uses its right leg, and the right leg just pivots out kind of, and 1, 2, it takes this gigantic stride, and it's like off into the woods, and I see it, and I'm like, holy shit. My friend's got the metal detecting shovel like this, and I look at him, I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do with that? He's like, dude, I'll hit it. I don't. He's like in shock himself. I'm like, all you're gonna do is dig your own grave with that. At that point, we were both in shock, and I'm like, yo, Brian, we need to get the hell out of here, because if it went in those woods, it's gonna circle back down. I don't know. I don't know anything about them at this time. We go out anyway. There was a lady there who was gonna do photography. She's like, dude, did you guys see a ghost or something? What's wrong with you? And we told her the whole situation. She's like, that's funny, because every time I get up near those pines, I get that creepy feeling. So that right there was the reason I got started, those 2 sightings. The first one, which I kept silent. The second one, when I had somebody with me, gave me visual confirmation. Anyway, on that second sighting, when he turned and walked away, there was a pine tree, and he hit his head. Wham! The pine branch went just like this. That stuck in my mind. I was able to visualize that, and what I did is we tried to go back the next day, but it snowed, so I couldn't get foot tracks or anything. In Western New York, in May sometimes, it was early May, I believe it was. May. It wasn't June, it was May. I remember it was like that day, it was like 65, and then the next day there was snow up there. It's unreal up here. So we couldn't get foot tracks, but what we did do is measured the distance from the ground to that branch, and it was 9'8". 9'8". So that put me into this whole different, like, what is it? Why is it here? I want to know. I seek answers. That's my thing. So I came home and I started reading every book, every video, every TV show. I mean, I've got stacks of books. Below me, I've probably got 40 Bigfoot books. Right here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17 DVDs, including my documentary, not my documentary, the documentary I was in. We shared some of our evidence in I've Seen Bigfoot, it's called. That was from 2015 with Steve Culls and Bob Gimlin, a few other people. Peter Weimer did it. It was great. It was so nice to share. And I spoke last year at the Bigfoot Chautauqua Expo. I'm going to go again this year. But anyway, that's what got me into researching, because you asked. Let me get back up here to see what you say. See, mountain monsters, they're great guys. They are. John, I've talked to John Tice myself, and you know, they do things for TV. It is what it is. They may have the same research capability, but things change when you do it for TV. The TV wants suspense, guys. Let's see. Just trying to see what you guys say. I'm really into these things, but do you think that Bigfoot live in Europe? I don't know. I don't live in Europe. I can't make that assumption. Hey, Alan, what's up, brother? Did you see any tree structures at all? I've seen a lot of tree structures. Can you be more specific? I mean, all over our area. We've had a couple taken down. We've had some huge ones moved. Look for structures in the woods, Kobe. That will tell you. Ryan has a video how to find them. Yep. Good point. Hey, Ryan, have you seen letters from... I have seen letters from the big man. That's one of the best ones out. It's an older one, but it's good, you know. I mean, I have everything here from, you name it, Tom Biscardi to, I mean, even like, this one was good. Mountain Devil. I mean, you know, here's ours. I've seen Bigfoot. Steve Culls, Bob Gimlin, moi. I mean, I've got all kinds of DVDs. It pays. Oh, this is a good one. Of course. You know, I pay attention to everything. If you close your mind and you just stick on one thing, guys, your research is going to be ineffective. Okay, so I like to take people out, and here's the problem. What happens is people bicker. They all bicker, and you know, they want to be first to find Bigfoot instead of exploring the options and coming down and sitting by a campfire and shooting the shit and say, hey, you know, Ryan's a good guy, or hey, Mark's a good guy, or Alan, or whoever. It seems that there's the rift, the divide. But as of late, people have been listening. As you can see in the videos, people are doing better, finding more things, talking to each other, talking about each other in good ways. That's what I want. That's awesome. Since last year, it's totally changed. People are doing great. Has anyone went camping and heard the wildest things at night? I will tell you this, Milkman. About 2014, I was bow hunting, and I had a couple of buddies with me, and we were driving in. I had an SUV at the time, so we're coming about 7:30 in October, just getting dark. We're coming down off the hill, and there's like this four-way, and it's all gravel roads. Where I mean, thousands of acres of land. Just as the sunset, I mean, I got the radio on low, and the guys are talking. This scream lets out, and it's blood chilling, like this female is getting murdered in the woods type. I slammed on the brakes. I turned the radio. I was like, shut up. And they heard it. And it was like this, this like, but it sounded like a woman was being stabbed to death in the middle of the woods. And I was like, what the hell was that? But after more research, you start learning and observing and paying attention to all of this, you know. That's why I talk a little bit about the paranormal, you know, because the things that have happened to me, things that I've seen disappear, balls of light. If you're a researcher and you're listening right now, and you are not telling your people or your followers what's going on in your research, or if you hide that or suppress that, you're only lying to yourself, because in the end it's going to come out, or whatever it is. Stop looking at it as your reputation. Look at it as, if you're really worried about your reputation, you should be telling the truth no matter what happens. Follow the evidence, and whatever it takes you to, then you tell your people. Let the people put the story together. That's what we're doing here. We're putting a story together. We're not, you know, but it's a real life one. Well, I kind of like the fact that they have made a TV shows about Bigfoot. It's caused so many people. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're doing research, but half of them are doing it wrong. I mean, I can't say it's wrong because I don't know. But what I can say is that the results yielded from it are nil. Right? Would Bigfoots be nocturnal? Nocturnal. I'm going to say no on that. Couple of reasons. 90% of the best footage that we have is during the daytime. I'll start with my footage. I'll start with the Freeman footage, the Independence Day, or whatever, memorial footage. What else? Patty. I mean, 90% of the footage is that dusk time frame, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. You've got a couple of thermals of possibles. You got Stacy Brown's good footage, Geller Brown's footage. If they are nocturnal, here's the situation. We can't see them half the time, even if we got equipment. You trip over things. The chances of even getting one at night are slim to none anyway. Everybody needs to be paying attention in those dusk hours, daytime, etc., etc. What's the closest I've ever been to a Bigfoot? 15 feet, roughly. There's a new Bigfoot movie out this year. There's a couple. I know Seth Breedlove's doing one. There's a couple coming out. I was hoping to do one. I'm going to help somebody. Like I said, I was going to share some stuff with a guy that was going to come down in April and do a TV show with them, or be on their TV show, I should say. But I'd like to do a movie, an actual Bigfoot movie myself, with some other people. What I'd like to do, here's my idea. All the real researchers out there, you got about, what, 6 of them that you know of? I mean, the Olympic Project, us, a couple other people, Colorado Bigfoot, People that are really getting into the woods, digging what's going on, some paranormal, some old school. I'd like to have a camera crew, one guy like Seth Breedlove, because he does that type of thing. Let's say we take 6 people, right? Like six different researchers that are really researching. I'd say Todd Standing, I'd say Scott Carpenter, people that are really getting out there. I don't care what people think about anybody, but I would like to have that camera crew go to each person's, each of the 7 people or 6 people 1 month. So for 1 month, you go to this guy's area and you guys go like 15 or 16 or 18, 20 times in the woods. And he does that for all 7 people and then puts the movie together and shows what real research achieves and what we're doing. And you don't see anybody sending samples and doing things. And a lot of people get fed up because they're out there busting their ass doing, you know, research cameras and thread across trees and all kinds of stuff, you know. And then when it comes to get it tested, they're stonewalled or they're laughed at or they're, you know, nobody's taking this seriously. Like, I get it. Why would you? Because it's Bigfoot, right? But when you experience it, your whole attitude will change. Do they always have to be in close proximity to water? No way. No way. If you look at gorillas and chimpanzees, if you're going to compare it to that, they get 80 to 90% of their water from what they eat, leaves, etc. Google it. It's scientific fact. Always would it be Bigfoots or Big Feet? I don't know. Good one. Willow Creek was awesome. Yeah, that was a good movie. Like I was saying, one of your last, did you see drag marks in a structure? Yeah, there was drag marks on the ground where it was moved. I know what you're talking about, Alan. Yep. The only thing I've witnessed when I was with my friend, we were talking in big forest, got a big stick thrown at us and you ran. Sometimes it's not good to run, brother. Yeah, I've heard them screams while I was hunting. I also have a video of that where you caught it. I just was able to catch a little bit of it. Yeah, they will mimic owls. They'll mimic crows. They'll mimic birds. They have this universal oneness. I don't care what type of researcher you are, paranormal, crypto-normal, alien, Bigfoot, old school, I don't care. We will all experience at one time some of the same things. It's a proven fact. Yeah, if you hunt, you'll know the different sounds. Yes, yes, for sure. I live in a real flat area, no foots near me. Never say that. Just because it's flat doesn't mean anything. Let's see. How come all these trail cams never really hit anything? Because they're a lot of times you're being watched when you put it up. They're there, you just don't know it. People put them in the wrong locations. They put them facing the wrong directions. They don't have the trust. If you see, this is what I would do. When I was getting the trust, when I was habituating, I was telling them what I was doing. This is for you. You can have this. This is what it is, but this is what I want. This is my goal. I want a photo. I was telling them everything along the way, and eventually it happened. And then you guys see some of my pictures that I share, and you're like blown away. Like, whoa, that's awesome. That's great. It is. It took a lot of damn hard work. That's why I don't care what people think. I don't care. People can call you crazy. People can call you out there. But I've changed a lot of minds, I will tell you that. People that didn't believe, people that were naysayers, and then they started seeing evidence, and then, hey, I run into them at the store, or they call me, or whatever it is, and it's like, I told you so. You don't have to, I don't ask you to believe me, but when you see it, you'll know. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of records of Bigfoot attacks. I mean, you hear about it all the time. You listen to certain radio stations, don't you? I mean, Wes has shared some. What's the other one? Outlaws. They've shared a lot of attacks. Aren't you scared of them watching you? Yeah, at first you will be scared. If you're alone, you're going to be scared shitless. I do not recommend going out alone, ever. Don't do it. I don't care what type of evidence you're going to get. Always have somebody with you. You could get hurt. You could fall. You could get attacked. You could, a bear, a cougar, a cat, whatever. I'm just saying, don't go out alone. At least one other person. It's a smart thing. I've gone out alone before. I hate it. I dislike it. It's not cool. When you get out there, once you gain their trust and they understand you, look, a lot of guys go out there, they hide their scent. Okay, so I'm a Bigfoot, right? I'm in the woods. Let's do this. I see hunters all year long. They mask their scent. They see what they do. They see them climbing trees. They see this whole shit happen, right? So if I'm a Bigfoot, I know what's going on. I can pay attention to the whole situation in the woods. So when a Bigfoot researcher comes in and tries to do the same thing, mask his scent, climb in trees, yada, 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 carry a gun, that Bigfoot associates you with a hunter no matter what. So you have to be upfront. I don't mask my scent. I do nothing different. What they see is what they get. I may wear certain colors, and that's about it. Because I think it has an impact on them. I can't prove that, but there's times where was wearing certain colors and I got more of a response, and certain times I was wearing other colors and they wanted nothing to do with me. So I think they correlate it with hunters, and that's why you get the responses you get. But once you gain that trust from the habituation factor, you're going to get a lot farther. And people are like, well, how do you know all this? How do you, sorry, I was just looking at my camera. How do you know all this? I'm like, these are, what I tell you is what I've experienced in the field. Basically, I learned from them. I followed the evidence. This is where it's led me. I can't change it. I don't care what people think. All I can do is be honest, real, and straightforward, basically. Let's see. Bigfoot Outlaw Radio. Yep, look it up on YouTube. What is your most unlikely moment? What do you mean? I've seen an alien. I think there's a place to tell people aliens are real. In fact, I think I caught one on camera, and I have quite a few stories. Languages that they speak. I've heard English. I've heard samurai chatter, all kinds of stuff. Native Americans. It differs in different regions all across the United States. I've subscribed. Always fun seeing a local channel that's growing. Also, is there anything you know of near Darien Lake and Amherst? Oh, yes, totally. I get people calling me from Buffalo. There's a researcher out there, a couple of them, older guys. Some are 70s. There's a lot of Bigfoot activity in Clarence. A matter of fact, in Niagara County, if you Google this, in the 80s, there was a Niagara County Bigfoot team made up of the police force. There was I have the article somewhere. So check into that, because there is activity down here. Matter of fact, in Erie, there's been Presque Isle. There was in the 60s or 70s, there was a ton of activity, UFO and Bigfoot activity. What do you think of the whole Dogman thing? Les, you talking about Les Stroud? He's a good dude. Like I said, I think Dogman are possibly real just based on what I've experienced. I don't tell you something that is secondhand. I tell you what I've experienced. So with the samples coming back as dog, I didn't understand how it could be dog when my stations are way up in a tree. I knew no dog could get to it. That made me think. I don't know if I seen a Dogman. I will tell you I had an encounter on July 3rd. July 3rd of 2016. That it's in one of my videos. If you go back way down, it's like Sasquatch footage, Ryan reading. It's like a picture of a tree stump. It's where I had the video interaction, the original photo, the video, 30 minutes long. But when I was coming down out of the woods, I crossed over a gravel path into a creek bed on the bottom. I was looking for prints to see if they had gone to the water. I got this weird feeling, and I tell people, follow your gut. And every researcher across the board, whether you're old or new or whatever you follow, you get these feelings like you're being watched or this energy. So it's weird. I've experienced them so much that I can almost tell you which ones they are. I get a feeling in my gut, my nose runs. It's really weird. I don't know why. Don't ask. I don't know if it's sensitive type thing or what, but that's kind of what happens. And I'm walking through the creek, and I just, something tells me turn around, and I turned around, and like I had this bad vibe, and it was like I felt the need to talk to it. Like I was like, I can tell you're a different one. I could tell just by the way it was pressuring me. Like I could feel it up in the hill, up on the woods somewhere. And that's where I told it. I was like, look, I know you're buddies. I don't mean no harm. I'm good. You know, whatever. I say this whole thing. And like, I felt it like back off. Like it was weird. So I don't know. Bigfoot usually, to me, they all know me in my area. Like I thought there was like one or two. I ended up knowing that there's 8 different ones. It's unreal. So like when I felt the energy of this different one, that's what made me think like it was stalking me. And I was like, I never had one try to stalk me. So that's another reason why I was into that Dogman thing. But I've never seen one, so I don't know. If Bigfoot was a breed of species, what would it be? If it was a species, I don't know. We're mere speculating here. So let's say if you're talking relic hominid, I don't know. I mean, you've got so many different, I mean, oh God, there's the Australopithecine, there's the Sahelanthropus, there's, oh my God, there's so many branches off evolution if that's what you're thinking. Do I have a moment that made me still scared by thinking of? Yeah. Yeah, 2 moments. One where we were being screamed at, we were kind of forced out of the woods, and one of my visual sightings. Yes, they were both, these 2 things were scary. Later, Alan. Do you think Dogman guard Bigfoot nests where the babies are? Not necessarily, because I believe the mothers will carry the babies, or they'll put them in trees, or you got to remember, everybody's out there looking for this thing walking around. It's not like that, man. They sit by trees. They use cover. They do all these things just like a person would. If somebody was trying to shoot you, let's say, what would you do? You'd hide, man. No, I mean like dog, gorilla. Bigfoot would, I mean, I'd say it's part of a gorilla. I guess you could say that, but I don't think that anymore. It would be more human. It's got the human traits in it. Have you seen Bigfoot where these dudes put nails through plywood? Yeah. Yep. Meldrum was up there doing that about 4 years ago or 5 years ago at the cabin. They did get some DNA samples, but you never heard much about that. Todd Standing just took out Meldrum. There's going to be a show coming out about that, where Meldrum had some encounters with a Bigfoot, actually his first. So see, here's what I'm going to tell you guys. As a researcher, you know who's real. I'm not a sideline guy. I'm not a skeptic. I'm not somebody sitting there saying, well, it could be, or taking somebody else's advice. When I see things and correlate it to my stuff that I get, I know that that person's real. So like Todd Standing, he's real. He's in the field. Colorado Bigfoot, he's real. Michael Merchant, he's real. He's in the field. Christopher Noel doing audio, he's in the field. So what they get is real. Even real. I mean, I see his whole situation, you know, people are real. So when they come across some, oh, the first thing they want to yell out is hoax. Why? Because it's probably bad for business for them. Government knowledge, we all know that they know. Based on one of my videos where they took my cameras, you know, they gave them back, but now to use them on any state forest in New York, I have to get a permit, which I'm still waiting for. I'm a local guide on Google Maps. Any major things to look for? I saw the X's on the map in your video. I'm going to look through tonight. I'm a go. Hope you get what you want. I don't really want anything. I just my hopes are to prove to everyone that they exist. I wish I could take everybody in the woods and say, look it, told you so, but I can't. So I have to bring some of that evidence back in picture form or video form. I mean, I have videos where they're just walking or climbing trees, or I've had Alan and so many people pick things out You know, when I come home and put the videos up, I don't go through them, guys. I put them up there for you guys to go through them. You guys can go through them, do what you got to do. You tell me, and then you're like, oh, I'm time stamping this. Look what I seen. Boom. You know, and that's how we find it. But we know the government knows. They took my cameras, had to apply for some permits. I've never heard of not using. You can't use game cameras on New York State land. It's baffling. I've talked about 20 hunters, and none of them knew it either. How do you feel about Yetis? They're all the same thing. Do I believe they exist? Why not? It's even more vast in Russia, in those countries. I mean, we're not in those snow peak mountains. I mean, come on. No way they don't Bigfoot big new right now. Vicky, you got to re-say that. No way they don't Bigfoot big news right now. Who don't Bigfoot? Oh, the government. Oh, yeah, of course. Look at how much is coming out. People are waking up about a lot of things, not just Bigfoot, about how the government treat us, about things that Hillary Clinton did. And whether you believe it or not, it's there. It happened. You know, people are seeing this like, what the hell is going on? So question everything. You know, I think Joe Rogan and other people have said that before. He did a show, I think, Question Everything. But question it all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no reason not to. When you close your mind, forget it. Thoughts on Mothman? A buddy of mine, well, a friend of mine from a while back, Bill Brock, he did like Mothman investigation stuff. I mean, there's video, the bridge collapse. I mean, it's something. It's probably real. What it is, I have no idea. The government knows they exist, and about you can buy cameras at Walmart without a permit. Something is wrong here. Yeah, they took down my game. If you go back, the name of the video, when we get done here, you can take a look at it. It's Bigfooting and Forest Rangers, where I had to meet them. They had to give me the cameras back, telling me that I can't use game cameras because it's considered storage of private property on state land. It was unreal. So I had to take it down. I had to apply for a permit. Now the 3 departments run the property. 2 said, okay, I'm good to go, waiting on a 3rd, but all my evidence has to be sent through the New York State Museum. I actually have some of the emails. I probably could have showed you, which I don't think is fair. It should go to my DNA specialist, because whatever I find or do find, anybody could contaminate it, change it, whatever. It was the well, not DEC, the forestry officers. Yes. Yep. Be right back. Need coffee. Yeah, the government has like thermals on planes. The government knows they exist. It's you know, why would you disclose something like this? It changes history. I mean, it changes religion. How do you come out and tell people there's this thing living alongside of us for how long, walking around? Okay, still major BS. Yeah, it is. I mean, I got to go through it, but you got to do the right thing. I was going to try to get funding from the state to actually pay for, like, get like $150,000 grant to do certain things and get certain cameras and set up certain technologies and advance it. And they said that they could, but I would have to be a 501c3, and that's a pain to even try to get in New York State. But you know, I shared a lot tonight, guys. I mean, is there any other questions you guys want to talk about? I think we've been on here an hour and a half. Let me know. I mean, I can go a little while longer if you got any questions. But like I said, try to habituate, get the trust. Once you found the tree structures, talk to them. It's odd. The weird thing is when you're talking in the woods to like trees, yeah, it's weird. You got to let them know what you're doing. They hear you. They see you. I mean, I hunted my whole life, and I was looking for deer, guys. I never looked at structures or trees and certain patterns. And footprints, and I looked for deer. I looked for deer prints. I looked where the deer were going. That's what I was there for. That's what I was paying attention to, until these sightings happened. And I'm like, whoa, I really had to change my train of thought. I had to look for different things. Your brain gets overwhelmed in the woods. If you're a hunter, how many times you could walk right past the deer and then you see the ear go whap, it flickers, and you're like, oh my God, they're, and it's too late. It's because we work on movement. If they stand still or sit still, you'll walk right on by them. Kill Bigfoot and give the corpse to the government. Nah. Do you have live streams like this all the time? Yeah, once in a while. I'm just getting back into it. Wanted to share some good things. You could check out my channel all the way back. I make videos. I do a lot of things, share with a lot of people. I think I just broke quite a few thousand subscribers. I'm doing pretty good here. But like what you see all summer long is us from the field, all our videos. You can go way back and check some out when my Bigfooting started. I started a YouTube channel maybe a year ago, but I've been doing it since about 2013-ish. Thanks, Milkman. Follow Ryan on Facebook to receive notifications. Sure thing, Howie. I'm on Twitter under Western New York Bigfoot, Western NY Bigfoot. I'm on Instagram where I share some photos. Facebook, Ryan Reading. I have a WordPress where I blog on one of my accounts. Oh my God, there's so much out there. This YouTube channel, I share with a few other. We do podcasts with a couple other channels. Thanks, Red King, for the sub. I like to talk about things, explain things. You'll see photos. If you like me on Facebook, that's usually where I share a lot of my photos. I have a channel called Bridging the Gap Between Sasquatch and Woo. That's one of my Facebook things, and I share a lot of my stuff there. I'm on Google Plus, so I'm kind of all over the place. Don't forget though, Monday night I'm doing the Night Callers radio. That's at 9:30, I think it is. That's the radio interview. I've done a couple with Vic Cundiff. If you go back, I'm like, I remember number 10 and I think 27 in his list, if you guys check those out. But do you think the logging changes things? Not really. I mean, people say it does because it's big money, but I think it's more like you got to change religion and history and what are these things? Where did they come from? That's the biggest thing. That's why, see, we had mound builders back in the day, and all the bones were kind of picked up, scooped up in the Smithsonian, took them away, and nobody knows where they're at. Well, why did they do that? I believe mound builders may have been Bigfoot, okay, or a possible link to Bigfoot somehow, some way, somewhere, because the Indians would call them the tall people or the mound builders, and they were like, they were here before us. So, and they lived underground, and it's crazy. So there's a lot to delve into when you really start researching. But as far as logging, I mean, it might change it. Dipping out, love your channel. Later, guy. You should do an outing and let people come like a weekend. I did that last year. We had a few people come. We were supposed to have a bunch of people come, but a lot of people backed out and so on and so forth. But it is what it is. I don't like to take a ton of people. And if I'm going to do an outing, the outing is going to be a daytime outing. I'm not taking people out at night. There's no reason to. I've had more success, where we could hang out during the day, talk Bigfoot, learn Bigfoot, maybe hit the woods at like 3 o'clock and go, or 4 o'clock to like 9, a straight 5-hour thing, learning structures, talking, just sitting in core areas, sit down on the ground. A lot of times they'll come to you guys. They'll come out there. They'll find you. Send out a link on Facebook for Monday. I'll get it from her. Probably sometime Monday she'll set the link for me, and then I can share it with you guys. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I know you guys are getting tired. It's 9:30. Me too. I need to grab something to eat. Like, sub, share. get everybody talking, get all the researchers together, whoever you follow, you know, start making it a good thing. Get rid of all the negativity. You know, I want to, you know, special thanks to all the people I talked to. I'll just run down the list. Utah Sasquatch, Omega Sasquatch, Colorado Bigfoot, Colorado Forest Beings, Snowwalker Prime, Impossible Visits, Christopher Noel, Todd Standing, my buddy Shane, Brian, bunch of others, even Cliff Bergman. You know, he's given me some insight time and time again. We just keep doing what we're doing. We'll get somewhere eventually. But I give a shout out to all the guys that are really getting in the woods, doing their thing. I'm really kind of tired of people that aren't doing their thing. I have some friends that, you know, are disabled or really can't walk and do things, but you know, they still do research from the computer, which is really good, because sometimes we need that stuff. We can't keep up on everything. And that's some of the reason there's this divide. We can't keep up with it all. If I had somebody that would post my videos, edit my videos, all I had to do is go in the woods, share it, I could come home and keep up and do things like this. I don't have it though. We don't have that. So it gets to be hard, you know? So we'll see where that goes. I've had a couple people reach out to me where they may help and do things, and so we'll see where it goes. I don't know if you've heard of BBTV, but I guess they help grow your channel and do some things with you. I might go that route, just because I'm trying to get the word out more and more. The more you get out, the better it is, guys. Thanks for entertainment. Appreciate it. Spread the channel tomorrow. Love it. All right, guys. I'm out. You'll see us from the woods. Later.